one of the things that I want to talk about is, if I were advising you on everything you need to know about how to prep your profile to get the maximum funding that you want to get, whether it's from a specific lender or whatnot, these are the things that you need to know. Number one, H credit lines are more important than high credit lines. Okay, believe it or not, they are. So if I have to take a high credit line available or an aged account, I'm going to take the aged account. Why? Because you're not such a risk to the lender. It shows that you can manage credit, and you've managed credit over 10 years versus 1 year. So they love to see aged accounts. Now, there's ways to accelerate that aged accounts, right? By doing something we call authorized users. I don't sell AUs, but there's a lot of people in this community that do. But authorized users can basically, you can piggyback off of one of their aged accounts and get some of the value of that aged account depending on the credit line and how that company works their credit line. But aged accounts, you want to have aged accounts. You want to have an aged history. You don't want 1 year, 2 years. You want 10 years, 20 years if you can get it. Obviously, it's not always possible, but the longer the credit line, the better for you, okay? It's going to be how you walk in the door and get maximum amount versus not maximum amount. So number one is age credit lines. Number two, have a thick and balanced, diverse profile. What does that mean? Well, that means that you don't just have all AUs accounts. So that means you're not having a bunch of store cards and you don't have any revolving and you don't have any installment loans, no mortgage. There's things that you need on every account. Now, I don't have a mortgage as of right now. Okay, that's the only thing I'm missing from my credit report. But lenders love to see a mortgage because you're invested, right? So they like to see a mortgage loan. They love to see that you've had car loans in the past or that you currently have one. They love to see that there was student loans or that there was personal loans, right? Installment loans, we call that. They like to see a revolving line of credit if you can get that. And they also like to see how you manage your credit card. So you have revolving accounts, you have installment accounts, and then you have various types of installment accounts. So the more history that you've had, I've had many personal loans. I've never had student loans, but I've had lines of credit, and I have credit cards, and I have store cards, and I don't actually have any AU accounts. So I have a thick and balanced, diverse profile. They like to see, I have over 20 lines of credit on my profile. So they like to see that you can manage the debt, and they like to see it be aged. Okay, so age credit lines. Number two, thick and balanced, diverse profile. The more diverse you can make your credit report, that's key. Here's a gem for you as well. If you want to get installment loans and you don't want to be, dropping your score crazy, do the pledge loans with the credit unions. Do the secured loans through credit unions, okay? Because you can get that secured loan and then you can pay off half of it up front, so that way you only owe 50% of it, or if you only want to pay 25% of it, do that, right? Because it's going to start reporting that history for you, okay? So that's an easy way to get installment loans and manufacture. If you got $2,000, open up a $2,000 loan and then just pay that thing down, right? So that's an easy way to do it. They also like to see high limits on your personal credit cards. Believe it or not, they do. Especially when you're going for business credit cards, because they leverage the personal credit. And so they say, okay, usually they give 3 to 5 times the amount of your personal side. So if you got a card with $5,000 on it, it's very likely that you can get 15 to 20 to 25,000 on a business card. And remember, always go for the 0% cards. I'm a 0% guy. It's very possible that you can do that. So they want to see that you can handle higher limits. So I always recommend, with all of your cards, make sure that you're getting cards that do soft pulls for the credit limit increases. Okay, and the reason for that is so you can do that and you can save your inquiries. Right. The next thing is, you don't want to have too many new accounts when you're going for funding. If you have too many accounts when you're going for funding, you're going to look like you're desperate for credit. Banks hate that. They want to give you money when you don't need it, not when you need it. They don't know what you're doing with the credit, why you need so much credit. They get super spooked, especially during this economic times. You want to be super conscious of how many new accounts that you've opened, okay? Now, You also don't want to have a ton of inquiries. I would say 2 to 3 inquiries max on each credit bureau within 6 months. That's what I would say on that, okay? There's a thing called credit card garnering, which I'll be making a video on that here coming up soon. So check out the playlist on financial literacy and bookmark that. I make new videos and I drop it in the playlist, okay? So not many new accounts, not many new inquiries, okay? Now, there's a thing called what I call the pizza party method, okay? When you're going to get new accounts, you want to do them all at the same time, if you can. You want to do them all at the same time because you want these things hitting at one time, so that way, because here's the thing. If you're applying for 10 credit cards, that's a lot of credit cards. If you're applying for 4 to 6 credit cards at one time, you want to target who pulls from TransUnion, who pulls from Experian, who pulls from Equifax. They all don't pull from the same bureau. And some of these cards, like Capital One, pull from all 3, so you definitely want to avoid Capital One. That's why you want to watch this channel and know what you are applying for before you apply for it, so you don't get screwed. It's what you don't know in credit that hurts you, okay? But that you make a list of the cards that you want from TransUnion, the ones that you want from Equifax, Experian, and then you pull up a whole bunch of tabs in incognito. You fill out the applications, maybe 5 at a time, whatever the case is, and then you submit them on incognito tabs. Why do you do incognito tabs? Well, for cookie purposes, and that's just kind of the name of the game with the pizza party method. That's just kind of how you do it. But you do them all at one time, so that way you're not having a whole bunch of brand new accounts being reported, because if you do, now you're going to get denied, right? And you also want to make sure you're strategic on who you're pulling from, because the moment that you submit for it, it's going to ding your credit report. And so there's usually a little bit of a lag, maybe like 30 to 60 seconds if you're lucky. So you want to go bam, 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 bam with each bureau that you're doing it for, okay? They want, so here's the other thing too about credit gardening. Here's a tip for you guys with the credit unions. You guys are going to see a lot of videos coming out about the best credit unions and some crazy high limit funding you can get with them. The biggest thing that you got to know is a lot of people need to be a member at least 90 days to get maximum results. So they're not wasting inquiries and having a hard time getting credit line increases, okay? So the biggest thing that you want to know is you want to open up these credit unions or these banks, and you want to fund them, and you want to be making monthly deposits on them, sometimes linking direct deposit. And here's a key for a lot of you guys out there that work corporate jobs. You can get a corporate, like your direct deposit, you could split it up between 5 different accounts. And so every single month, those 5 credit union accounts or those bank accounts that you're funding get funded every single bi-weekly, weekly, into 5 accounts. And you're constantly putting money in these accounts, which they love, because what they normally do is if they have $10, now they can lend out $100. They usually lend 10 times of the amount of money that they have. So banks leverage credit for sure. Okay, so that's what you need to know on that. Consistent monthly activity is going to be key. Money in the bank. Also, numerous accounts, data points, right? You want to have that going on. And then just kind of know their maximum limit exposures as well. There's a thing called we're going to be doing videos on that too. But the bottom line is you want aged accounts. If you don't have them, get some AUs to balance out your average age of account, okay? You want them aged. You want them as high as you can get them. So aged accounts, get some AUs if you don't have them. Also, make sure that you're credit gardening, making sure that when you're opening these new accounts that you have them open for at least 90 days with active, consistent activity. It's not good enough to just open these accounts and just hope that you're going to get higher, credit funding. You need to make sure that there's active activity in there. You need to make sure you diversify your profile, and you make sure that you strategize what you want and why you want it, and then you go after it at the same time, okay? That's how you do that. That's how you build out a profile that it's gonna, and you make sure you always pay your payments on time. You cannot miss any payments, people. Okay? So if you need to watch this video a couple times, I know I dropped a whole bunch of jewels on you guys. Watch it a couple times. Check out all the playlists. If you have a question, put it in the comments. If you have any gems and diamonds that you guys have about how to get high limit credit funding, put it in the comment section. Who do you know that gives high limits? Who do you like that gives high limits? Put that in the put that in the comment section. Any advice you have about how to get high credit funding or who you get that from, put that in the comment section. Let's help each other out, all right? Let's be a blessing to each other. All right, like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Remember, 2 videos a day, sometimes 3 videos a day. You gotta make sure you're subscribed. Push the like button so other people can see this, and let's get this channel growing. All right, guys, take care. Peace.